I'm 58. I'm 86, 85.
You're 85.
That's correct.
So when you see people chasing that of 60, then you say,
I was born in 35. Pardon?
When you see somebody chasing the one of 60 and you're 85, then you say Kakati is a 30 yange. Where am I anyway?
Yeah, I'm not talking about this from personal point of view. No subject.
It's
dangerous.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous, in fact, to start a party whose philosophy to divide Uganda along
age and anything.
Yes, that's and in any way, I also want to add that NUP does not have a monopoly of youth. Other
political party has a monopoly.
No, every party has youth. So it's wrong to say that as if they have a monopoly
over the youth. No, that's not right. Ambassador Mchibi, I thank you for having allowed to join us here. You are a senior citizen, and I want to pick your mind as a senior citizen on the happenings of these things. Now, I'll not go as far back beyond 1980, but I'll start from the 1980 when we had that election. Now, we had an election in 1980, and we never had any other election until 1996. Now, the Kosea Chikera's election of 1980, we saw what actually happened. Then we fast forward, we come to Stephen Akabwai's election in 1996. Then we come over to Azizi Kasuja, we come over to Dr. Badu Chigundu, and now to Mujenyi Byabakama. Here is where we are. You've been a participant and witnessed all these particular elections. I want to pick your mind as a senior citizen on the election itself that we just ended. The elections actually are happening in this country, and the post-presidential elections that we just had. Your viewpoint as a senior citizen, your analysis of what we saw in relation to the previous elections, the so many elections where you personally participated.
Yeah. Okay. Now, thank you very much. I think maybe I point out some of the event or things which negatively impacted the election exercise and caused unnecessary problems. First I should start with some parties declaring defiance straight away from the nomination day, that they are not going to follow the law, they are not going to follow the regulation, they are not going to follow SOPs or COVID. So as if they were operating in
a normal environment.
In a normal environment, in the vacuum, whatever, I don't know, or outer space. Today we are here in Uganda. COVID is everywhere. COVID does not discriminate anybody. COVID is even in countries which are more equipped medically, in every aspect. Financially, they are suffering. They are dying in thousands, and you say they are in fact telling their followers that COVID does not exist. This is Museveni's trick to deny collecting, canvassing for votes, so that he can, canvass himself. But so this is where I started. This was dangerous. This was dangerous because these days actually I'm a little bit perturbed, because we take so many things for as normal, which are abnormal. They happen, somebody says it, and nobody does anything about it, and people get used to it, and it becomes normal. So the abnormal become like this defiance. Actually, I think it's Besige who started it. We should have taken it seriously. We cannot operate in a country, in a lawless country. In every country where you have such exercise or any other exercise, you have law, you have regulations. Now you are a leader and you say, no, I'm not following this. This is actually was the origin. This is what caused the riots and the victims which took place, which happened, because one of the leader continue to defy the regulation and the laws, and of course the security forces have to enforce as in any other country. And when he was, I think, arrested, then the followers started rioting. And so we have to start there and put emphasis and not forget. We should not handle the consequences and forget the causes. This is where sometimes we got wrong. And even people, when they are comment, even the press, information media, sometimes when they are comment, when you see the moment you talk about this riot, the moment you talk about issues, they bring police, army handling the situation. Yes, but they are supposed to restore order, but they don't bring photos. They don't highlight the photos where these rioters are violating the rights of Ugandan, undressing women, stopping people and asking, staging roadblocks, collecting money, beating people. They don't highlight this. This is, I think, the information media also, they are not, in many cases, they are not balanced. And by so doing, they create a wrong image. They send a wrong messages from here even to other countries outside. That is the police. But you see, as you said, I'm experienced. I have worked here and I have worked in so many other countries as a diplomat. And I'm informed, I'm exposed. People should make a difference between demonstrations and riots. These are not the same thing. These are two different things. Demonstrations are allowed by law. And the police is, you go on to the police and they allow you to demonstrate. They even give you a route. They even protect you against infiltrators who might spoil your cause. You see? But riots are violent by nature. In riots, property is destroyed, people are beaten, things are stolen, people are, other people, business actually is paralyzed, because whenever there is a riot, if you are in MPG and you ask somebody to take you to Kampala, he will not come. He will say, no, I understand that. I hear there is riot there. The shops will close. So riots are not good. And the way they are handled here is the same way they are handled in any other countries. In some other countries, even it's worse
than how we do it here.
Yes.
But
so
don't you think
it's important to point out to this? In fact, I want to tell you that personally, I also organized, when I was in Scandinavia, our organization, human rights activists in Scandinavia, we organized a demonstration.
In Scandinavia?
Yes, in Denmark. But we organized a demonstration, but we got permission from the police. We walked with the placards when we went to the embassy, and we went back. This is a demonstration. So people should because people, when you hear people say, but isn't
that
riots are violent?
Yes. Don't you think
I think they mistake riots for demonstration?
No, you've actually explained that very well to us. The riots and the demonstrations.
Yes.
But don't you think that these people who get into riots, who get into this violence, have actually a message that they're sending? Don't you think it's out of some grievance? And there are issues that are not resolved that can only be understood that way. It's a bad thing that nobody would love to advocate for, but don't they have a cause even when they communicate wrongly their cause by rioting?
Yes, they may have grievances, but the way they are expressing it is wrong, because by expressing it through riots, you are victimizing innocent people. The businessman who would like to open his shop and get money, if he doesn't open it, a kiosk woman who earns only 5,000 or 5,000 a day, it closes. Are you going to compensate her? Somebody who's beaten. It's like struggle when you are struggling. In fact, I'll give you an example of the struggle. When President Museveni went to the bush, there were other organizations, bodies, which were also fighting. And some of them were advocating for urban terrorism.
That time?
Yes.
In the 1980s?
Yes. And President Museveni refused. He said, no, me, I'm not for urban terrorism. Because in urban terrorism, you victimize innocent people. You put a bomb somewhere, blow up a building, and these people who are staying there, why should they die? This is the same as riots. You have grievances, but by staging a riot, you are victimizing, you are denying people to do their business, traffic cannot place, people are beaten. So that's why it's not good. That's why it is handled the same way. That's why it is rejected by all other organized societies.
How did those issues
make a demonstration and express your view?
How did those riots and the misbehavior and the violence mirror or impact on the election that we just held recently?
It scared the people. People were scared.
Voter turnout?
Voters were scared. You see, because these riots took place in many places, not only in Kampala. So it scared the people, the voters. Yeah, because they thought, what is happening? You see, in fact, what salvaged the situation is the deployment of the army, the UPDF.
Was it necessary?
It was necessary to ensure the population that they are secure, their security is safe, that they can go and vote, and nobody will stop them from voting. And that's what happened.
The military,
and that's what happened.
The military was portrayed as those that were actually meting violence onto the people. Now, on one end, you have the police that was being brutal to the people. Then you bring the military in, where people actually saw men in army uniform, in LD uniform, beating people. So when you bring the military, does that help the people to come and vote, or it instead chases them away? Because when somebody sees an army man coming over, don't they just actually want to run away?
I think you missed that issue. The military, the one you're talking about, were controlling the riots. When it's a rioter, some of them were beating policemen. You saw them. When a rioter, you will not stop riots by just requesting them, requesting them or begging them
not to riot,
not to riot, or not to throw stone, or not to break whatever. You don't beg them. Would that work? I know. Look at the army which was deployed after the riots was there just to ensure the population that they should not be scared, they should go and elect, and they were not. In fact, although some people are saying, some people's comment is negative without any justification, because they are saying the army now is patrolling everywhere. You see them, you see helicopters, but they were not touching anybody.
Exactly.
Yes.
They came, they never touched anybody. We had a very peaceful.
That's why people regained their confidence.
Yes, we had a very peaceful exercise, Ambassador Mchibi, on that day.
Yes.
And this, in history, is one of the most peaceful elections that we went through.
And for example, you can compare our case to what is happening in the United States
right now.
Yeah?
No, they tell you they're deploying because
when things went wrong. When things went wrong, the army had to come out. I think they have deployed more 20,000 soldiers
at the Capitol Hill.
Yes. So
to make sure that
it doesn't happen again. What happened when Trump used the social media to incite violence?
In the United States.
In the United States.
Ambassador,
they had also to bring up the army, otherwise
Ambassador Mchibi, we went through an election where we had 18 million voters on our national voters register.
That's right.
And of every 100, only 52 came to vote. Now that's a very low number, in history at least, because even when this was the most peaceful election, but at least post-1980, from 1996, I think this was one of those that we registered a low turn-up at just 52%. The other that we had a low turn-up was, I think, about 56. Now this dropped to 52. What does that mean? That for every 100 people, only 52 gained the courage to come and vote, and the other 48 stayed away. How do we explain this, and what should we say about that?
Well, I think again those who did not turn up, again they were scared by that riot. That image scared actually many people. But on the other hand, I don't think it is low, because if you look in other countries, even those developed countries, the turnout is even lower.
Is that so?
Yes. Yes. It's lower.
I've not been to many countries like you've been.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm talking as a seasoned diplomat. Yes, so it's not low. Well, maybe it's low because you are comparing it to the previous one. But by international standard,
that's not low.
It's not low.
52% is a good number.
Not low.
To come to that.
It's very good.
Let's talk about the outcome of the election that we just had. We saw, now you are being a former minister in government for so many years, and of course a diplomat at that. How does it feel? I don't know whether you ever went through an election yourself, but how does it feel when you are a minister and you lose an election? You get into the polls, then you lose an election, because that is also playing out. Now, so many things are coming up, and one of those that people are actually saying why these ministers lost is because of the 102B, the Tojikwatako debate that was in Parliament. But even then, there are those who were part of the Tojikwatako team that also lost in this election, who did not touch it, but also lost in this election. But I want to pick your mind still on the various ministers in very key ministries that lost this election.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Well, I have also been, I've gone through election and I lost.
When was that?
I stood for in 1990s for CA.
In 1994?
Yes.
1994.
That's right. 94. See, and I lost to Center Zakajuri.
Oh, you lost to the late professor.
Yes.
Where was that?
I was the second. In Chadondo East. Now, this one, there have been a number of speculations, as you said, that these people, these ministers were voted out because they supported what? Tojikwatako. Now, I want also to talk, just one or 2 minutes, to talk about this Tojikwatako issue, which should not have been an issue. In fact, if I tell you my first contact with Tojikwatako, when I was ambassador to Egypt in 1990s, one of the prominent politician, I may not mention his name, he came to Egypt.
In Uganda, a Ugandan politician?
Yes, he came to Egypt, and I accommodated him in my residence, official residence. And then when we were having, I think, breakfast, he started. That's when I was watching the thing started, time limit things. Eh?
So in the 90s?
Not in 19.
When did you say? When you were in Egypt?
Egypt, in 1990s, in 90s. Yeah, because I went there in 1996. Yeah. So, he brought up this subject. I think he was looking for supporters, and he thought he would recruit me. Yes. So, and I told him straight away that.
And what debate was he talking about that time?
This Tojikwatako, it was starting.
The age limit debate?
The age limit, yes, it was starting.
As far back as
the
90s?
I think they were thinking of bringing up the issue. Yeah? So, I told him, look, for me, as far as I'm concerned, this is a non-issue.
Now?
Then and now. Why? Because this, when you say Tojikwatako, and then the Constitution itself says Munkwateko. Because the Constitution has provisions.
I think it's Article 261 or 262 of the Constitution.
Provision providing for amendment. Because it's not a Quran or a Bible. All constitutions are amendable. So that's why I say it's a non-issue. Secondly, the issue of age limit and the term limit is not an issue almost in all European countries. I don't know whether people, I think some people are taking advantage of lack of information by Ugandans. Even Even those European countries which are sympathizing with the opposition on these issues, they don't have age limit
and term limits.
No, do they have
term limit?
Term limit. Why is it necessary for Africans? Why does it become an issue for Africans? Because you are for them, they knew when you do that, you are usurping the right of the voters. The voters are the one who are supposed to decide whether they will vote for you in respect of many terms of the terms you have served, or in respect of your age. Even in the United States, they may have term limit, age limit, but term limit, but they don't have age limit.
It's just an imaginable
So you look at the European countries. Angela Merkel, how many terms?
Four terms now.
Why should it be? I think this is people are our friends, our development partners. I think this is because they want to give us orders to how to do, what do things. They actually sometimes they tell us, do as we say, but not as we do. Don't do as we do. So
Ambassador Mchibi, you heard about this issue of Tojikwatako in the 90s. So when it played out recently, how did you feel? What came to? Is that politician still here? Is that politician still alive?
He's still alive. But you see, for them, they want even to bring it back, this opposition. But it's a non-issue. You are violating the rights of voters. Suppose, for instance, I give you an example. Now, Museveni, this is during this election, President Museveni got more than 5 million voters, isn't it? Now, if you had said no, if you had excluded him from
contesting,
you would have violated the rights
of 5.8 million people.
Yes.
Maybe they should have voted for another person who would be there. That
no, I'm talking about this particular.
You talk about him specifically.
See, I don't say the issue is left for the voters. It should not be an issue. And people should be...
So and these ministers, casualties of the Tojikwatako
and you know, this Tojikwatako, why do they make it an issue, the opposition? It's because they have tried so many times to oust President Museveni through voting, and they have failed. So they wanted to use this technicality to bar him from standing, because when he stands, he beats them. That's the hidden agenda.
They can't win President Museveni in an election.
They want to win. It's like these laws use technicalities to win cases. So because on the election they can't win, well, how do we remove him? This is through term limit and age limit, which should not be an issue. We are turned into an issue.
Are these ministers suffering because of that? Because you see, even President Museveni was talking about that and saying when we reduce the debate to only him, time will come in the future when we want an ambassador Ibrahim Muchibi to become president of Uganda, maybe so many years, but Ambassador Mchibi is maybe 90 years, and the law stops him. But if it's open, then we can actually say, Ambassador Mchibi, come and bring all your wealth of experience and be part of this. Away from President Museveni now, the person and what just happened, how about the ministers?
Well, this actually reveals another very, very dangerous precedent. Oh, actually, it's taking us back, reminding us of what used to happen in the 60s. I remember in the 60s during the election, the people were voting colors. So, and I remember actually the people was during that election 1960, the DP and the UPC, the DPs were green. So they were even telling the people that even if you just go for green color, even if it is the dog which is
on green,
you take. So it's very disappointing because we think people should vote for qualities, performances. isn't it? But now you see all these ministers who are not voted for are actually the best performing ministers, as far as I'm concerned. And I think many people will agree with me. Yeah? The best performing ministers were voted out. Now, what does that give? What does that reflect? The quality of election, the quality of voters. What do we getting out? If you reject the best and you just vote for colors, it's taking us back to where actually we came from. And maybe we should go back to
individual merit.
Individual merit, because these party colors are now...
Yes, and actually that's my next question, is what did you expect when we chose to go into multi-party democracy? Because in multi-party democracy, that's where we go. And somebody will say, why did you vote for President Museveni? Because of his abilities and capabilities and his experience. Then you vote for Jagenda Semakola elsewhere, who does not have the same ideology as President Museveni, because Jagenda is opposition, Museveni is NRM. Then when you vote for Museveni up there, then you vote for Jagenda. Even President Museveni will say, no, don't give me Jagenda. But because I will disagree with Jagenda, give me Muchibi. And maybe Muchibi does not have the qualities, Muchibi does not have the capacity, but because it is a political party, everyone will say, vote for me as president and give me all these others whom I shall be able to work with to build a government and to serve the people. But yet again, you also know that we've actually voted for one capable leader, one end, and another or other incapable, very many leaders. So what do you expect, Ambassador, when we decided to go into this thing? And of course, it is where we are 15 years, 16 years later. Are we getting any better? Or we need to reconsider our decision of getting into multi-party democracy? Well,
I think if you ask my personal opinion, I would go back to individual merit, because it's more objective. These parties' colors. This actually is teaching the recent election. That's what we learn. The lessons we should draw from this voting out these quality ministers. So it's actually telling you that this party system we are trying to emulate or copy from outside. It does not work for us. It's not good. It is not because people thought that it is the best because that's what is used. In fact, on the other hand, multi-party systems are not democratic. Why? I explain. Because when you go on multi-party system, the party which gets the majority, even if it is by 51 majority, it's the winner, isn't it? And the winning party takes all.
Winner takes all.
The winner takes all. And when you consider the winner, and then you consider the losers, actually you may find that the losers are in the majority. Because even what is the membership of any given party? For instance, in Uganda, what is
the number of what?
The membership
of any given party?
Yes.
NRM says 15 million, and the others also say whatever they want to say. I don't normally hear NRM say their numbers. I don't know whether they are true. I don't know.
But okay, let's say maybe 15 million.
That's what normally they say. There are 15 million members.
Uganda is, what is the population of Uganda?
45 million.
Yeah.
So?
Yeah. So, it's a minority.
It's a minority. Yeah, it's from Ugandans.
Yeah. So multipartyism is not. It's not democratic. This individual merit is more democratic. That's my submission. I think to tell you the truth, as a seasoned diplomat, these people they want us to have multipartyism, because through multipartyism they can achieve their agendas. They can influence leaders of the parties and do whatever they want and achieve their agendas. Yes, that's the truth. Through individual merit, it's difficult. How many people you can, but here you just approach the leader of the party if you want to achieve any agenda, and they have so many agendas. And those agendas, of course, are not in our interest. Exploiting our resources, like in oil, like they are doing in other countries, minerals. They have even so many other agendas. So they need this organization. For instance, the NGOs. Why do you have so many NGOs? In fact, I can even say it as a seasoned diplomat, that most of these organizations are not NGOs. They are FGO.
F to mean?
Foreign government organizations.
They're not non-government?
No. They are government, but foreign NGOs. Because a lot of them, they are the ones who are financing them. They use them for all different purposes. They collect information for them.
Are we on the right
path? Most of them are not NGOs. I'm not saying all of them. But we have some genuine NGOs. But many of them are FGOs.
Is our democracy, Ambassador Mchibi, on the right path? Or we think we are headed to bad days or bad times with the system that we're running, the democracy that we are running? Looking at the things as they're happening, we are in an election today, and we don't know what the turnout of the election.
We cannot say we are doing bad. We see we are. It's a developing, it's a growing, it's a developing, it's a democracy. I think we have been doing well. We are doing much better than many other countries. But there are weaknesses which we have to address and address immediately.
Way forward, Ambassador Mchibi. We have about 5 minutes to end the program.
Yes.
What is the way forward?
The way forward, I think I should appeal to the youth. The youth. Those are my children, my grandchildren. I appeal to them to ensure that the democracy, the stability and peace which was restored by the movement in 1986 should be maintained. They should not, because some of them, you know what they say? When we talk to them, they say, no, for me, you are talking to me about these atrocities which used to take, human rights violations which used to take place in the past. For us, we don't really care because we were not there. So I tell them, no, that's not enough that you are not there. Your parents were there. Your fathers were there. Your grandfathers were there. Your relatives, your cousins were there. Don't you care about them? You are so selfish that you don't care about what happened to them. So you should tell them that what you should say that, oh, we are lucky that we were born in an era of peace, the freedom and democracy, and we have not suffered. We have not suffered that like our fathers and grandfathers, and we should make sure that nobody brings any arrangement or system that will restore those, bring back those dark days. Yeah, that's what I tell them.
Do you think the solution,
yes,
the solution to the youth today is just reminding them of the bad days that we went through, scaring them of the bad things that can happen to us, or you think there's something that needs to be done?
It's not a solution. It's not only that, but this is part, because they should know where they came from. If you don't know where you came from, you don't know, you cannot know where you are going. And that's why Europe actually is making, putting on TVs, documentary films of the Second World War, First World War, and even making film about these wars. Why? They want to remind their young generation where they came from. So that's the purpose. For instance, now you see what unfortunately, some people are trying to quote Libyan case as an example to emulate, which is completely wrong, because it should be actually against them, because Libya was stable, everything was okay, Then these young men, like we have here now, supported by European countries, they went and overthrew Gaddafi. And what happened after? Fighting groups, terrorism. Even those who are leading this campaign, they are no longer, they are not in Libya. They are running to Europe. And those who are supporting them, they are saying, no, 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 please, enough, don't come here. So is that a good example to emulate? But some people are quoting it. Don't you see how this you removed Gaddafi? But they should see the consequences. What are the consequences?
What do we need to do finally, Ambassador Mchibi, for us to avoid getting there? Because these were drumming the Libya, the Egypt situations. Possibly want to see Uganda also get there. And many other Ugandans may not want to see Uganda get there. But what do we need to do as a solution finally now, from you, the elders, to the young generation? That is very overzealous.
First of all, more information should be given. All of us, we are all stakeholders. Every Ugandan is stakeholders. Information media, you are stakeholders. Because you influence things. You create image. You influence the... You see, we are operating in a society which is not very well educated. And you can see people, when somebody wants to convince you of something, you say, but I had it over the radio. I had it over the TV. So it's very important that information radio play a right role in informing and the guiding, because these are some of your roles. I think you have not been playing it right, because some of the programs are actually misleading. They are giving wrong information. They are misleading this young generation. Because they say, even the TV, it was all on TV. It was even on the radio, so and so. Whatever they hear from information media, they take it as a what?
Gospel truth.
A gospel truth. So they have, everybody, the leaders have responsibility. Information media, religious bodies have responsibility.
Okay.
To guide the youth.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much, Ambassador Mchibi. Finally, one message to the people going out to vote today, because we also have an election that is going on. What message do you give to Ugandans out there who are moving out to go and cast the votes for the chairpersons of LC5 across the country?
Please vote quality.
They should go and vote for quality.
Vote quality. Don't vote colors. Yeah, it's short. That's all. Vote qualities. Yeah. Vote performance.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much, Ambassador Ibrahim Mchibi. Ambassador Ibrahim Mchibi is a seasoned career diplomat, and one, of course, who has been there, seen it, joined the Foreign Department of Foreign Services in 1968. Now, these are so many years. His wealth of experience has been with him, continuing to serve us and continuing to actually look at Uganda and be able to also contribute and participate to what is actually happening in Uganda. Now we'll take a break, and just promise you that we now, when we return still, we'll take you around the country to let you know what is happening elsewhere and everywhere as Ugandans again get to the polls today to choose and to elect their LC5 chairpersons and the district councillors. UBC TV and Star TV will give you all this coverage throughout the day for you to be able to know what is happening, where and how. My name is Yagana Semakola Ziksoka. We'll return later with these elections.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra. Uganda Decides 2021.